The extraordinary story of Amitabha Buddha taking 7-year-old Tony to travel to the Western Pure Land. What did he see in the Western Pure Land? What kind of miracles did he bring to us? Today, let's listen to the story shared by his mother. Tony is my youngest son. He is 11 years old this year. He has been a vegetarian since birth. Since my father passed away, Tony, 7 years old, has participated in the chanting for his grandfather. He has chanted the Buddha's name 1,000 times every day. We settled in New Zealand. Both my parents passed away in Taiwan. My father passed away in 2020 and my mother passed away in 2016. One day within 49 days after my father passed away, Tony, who was only 7 years old at the time, was blessed by Amitabha Buddha and was taken to the Pure Land to meet my parents. This was his first time to go to the Pure Land. The second time, Tony dreamed that Amitabha Buddha came and took him to the Pure Land was because, when I was compiling the records of my mother's passing on June 8, 2024. I was worried that Tony, who was only 7 years old at the time, would not be able to express himself in Chinese well, and I was afraid that I would misunderstand and the records would be biased. So I confirmed it again on June 8. The memory of his first visit to the Pure Land reminded Tony of the beauty of the Pure Land. He said to me, "I really want to go to the Pure Land again to have a look." I told him, "Just chant the Buddha's name and pray to Amitabha Buddha, and Amitabha Buddha will come and take you there." Actually, although I confirmed with my son again that he really saw my parents in the Pure Land, I was still a little uncertain in my heart. I was afraid that my son had told me a white lie just to settle my heart. I decided in my heart that I should not record my son's first visit to the Pure Land. I didn't expect that Amitabha Buddha would be so compassionate and really hear the voice of his disciples. He took Tony to the Pure Land again to see my parents. The following is what I wrote after I integrated Tony's second visit to the Pure Land to see my parents and understand his meaning. After that, I repeated it with Tony 5 or 6 times to confirm that it was consistent with his memory of what he saw in the Pure Land the second time. The following is what I recorded to enshrine the public. At that time, I was sleeping in bed. I saw Amitabha Buddha standing on a lotus flower. He came to me with a smile and said to me, "Tony, I heard your wish to visit the Pure Land. Come on, I will take you to the Pure Land." I was so happy that I jumped onto Amitabha Buddha's lotus flower. But I was afraid of falling, so I asked Amitabha Buddha if I could hold on to him. Amitabha Buddha said of course. I knelt down and held Amitabha Buddha's feet. We flew out of the earth on the same lotus flower. I entered a purple starry sky and flew past countless nebulae and planets. Finally, the speed was so fast that I could only see the light flying past me. I sat on the lotus flower from the earth to the Pure Land. I counted the time in my mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After about 5 seconds, I saw a bright light and arrived in the Pure Land. The lotus under my feet disappeared. At this time, Amitabha Buddha said to me, "The world you live in now has many disasters. Everyone is suffering. People get sick, die, and go through the 6 realms of reincarnation. But in this Pure Land, people are very happy. They will not be born or die, have infinite lifespans, and are not in the 6 realms of reincarnation. You must recite Namo Amitabha Buddha well. Don't forget the Buddha. You must recite the Buddha's name like this." Amitabha Buddha chanted it to me, "Namo Amitabha Buddha." You must recite Namo when you chant the Buddha's name. It's more respectful this way. Your mother will come to the Pure Land soon. You must chant the Buddha's name wholeheartedly. When your lifespan is over, I will come to pick you up. I nodded and said yes. Then I asked Amitabha Buddha, "Would you play chess with me?" Amitabha Buddha said, "Yes." Amitabha Buddha then sat cross-legged under a huge tree that was taller than the clouds. I looked up and could only see a little bit of the tree trunk. Most of the trunk, branches, and leaves were above the clouds and invisible. The tree trunk was made of gold. I was curious about what the trees above the clouds looked like, so I flew up there to take a look. As soon as I thought about it, I flew up there. I saw that the leaves of this big tree were made of many different jewels. I couldn't describe the shape of the leaves, I just remembered that there was a hook at the end of the leaves pointing upwards. I also saw a bird the same size as me, with a very long tail, orange-red in color, and it looked like an ancient phoenix, very beautiful and glowing. It landed at the highest crown of the tree. The bird made a very pleasant chirp. When I heard the chirp of the bird, my heart felt very peaceful and calm. After admiring the bird for a while, it suddenly occurred to me that Amitabha Buddha was still waiting for me under the tree to play chess. So I quickly flew down and arrived in front of Amitabha Buddha. We played chess under the big tree, and the chessboard floated in the air between us, glittering like the sun, bright but not dazzling. The chess pieces and the chessboard were made of gold, and the words on them were red and green, which also glowed. When we finished playing chess, the chessboard and chess pieces disappeared. I didn't get to capture a single chess piece. Amitabha Buddha defeated me in one go. I thought to myself, how could Amitabha Buddha be so skillful? Who taught him? Amitabha Buddha seemed to hear what I was thinking. He smiled and replied, "No one taught me. I learned it by myself." I asked Amitabha Buddha if I could walk around and have a look. Amitabha Buddha said, "Okay." So I wandered around the Pure Land by myself. I saw that the Pure Land is so bright everywhere, just like the sun shining on the earth, so warm and bright without being dazzling. Everywhere there are birds singing and flowers blooming, it is peaceful and serene, very comfortable. I see many glittering majestic and spectacular castles made of jewels. The air is filled with the fragrance of flowers. The trees and flowers are made of many beautiful jewels and sparkles. In the sky, the sweet music of the arrow chanting Namo Amitabha echoes. There are large patches of green grass everywhere. The grass is long and soft, and made of crisp jade. Stepping on it feels as comfortable as stepping on a plush toy. Beautiful jewel flowers bloom everywhere on the grass, and there are lotus ponds of various sizes. In the large and small lotus ponds, there grow lotus flowers of various colors, majestic and beautiful, exuding fragrance, and lotus leaves that are pure and clean above the water. The lotus flowers in the large lotus pond, and the lotus leaves that stretch for thousands of miles, are so vast that they seem to be connected to the sky. It is vast and magnificent. There are also fountains made of more than 50 kinds of jewels and ancient pavilions, magnificent and shining with golden light, standing in an orderly manner on both sides of the lotus pond. On the grass along the lotus pond, there are many exotic flowers and plants made of colorful crystals and jewels. They are dazzling, beautiful and fragrant. The fragrance of flowers and plants they emit permeates the air and can be smelled everywhere. There are many different kinds of trees growing in rows under the colorful clouds, just like the trees in Hagley Park in New Zealand, tall and big. There are golden trees with trunks made of gold, silver trees with trunks made of silver, jade trees with trunks made of jade, and other trees made of various jewels, with various jewel colors. Their branches, leaves, fruits and flowers are also made of various jewels. Each tree is colorful, dazzling, and sparkling, and very beautiful. Trees with the same appearance are arranged together in neat rows. There are also fragrant pink petals that float down from the trees with the warm breeze, like drizzle, falling on the ground. The petals are fresh, made of jewels, and glowing. The whole ground is like a pink carpet of flowers. Stepping on it is soft and feels like stepping on mochi, very comfortable. New petals would be laid on top of the old petals as they turned into smoke and disappeared. I have observed that these jewel trees are shorter than the tree under which Amitabha Buddha sits. The height of the tree under which Amitabha Buddha sits is at least 100 times that of these jewel trees. In the entire Pure Land, only the tree under which Amitabha Buddha sits pierces through the clouds, towering like an Optimus Prime, overlooking the entire Pure Land. I also saw many Buddhas. They were not Amitabha Buddha. They were all sitting cross-legged under the jewel trees, accepting offerings from many bodhisattvas. There were Buddhas with many heads and hands, Buddhas with blue skin, Buddhas riding elephants, Buddhas riding lions. I also saw bodhisattvas, picking the glowing jewel fruits from the trees, and placing them on a plate on a jewel stand, to offer to the Buddha. Some bodhisattvas pick the jewel flowers, growing beside the lotus pond, and make them into bouquets to offer to the Buddha. Other bodhisattvas hold the water from the lotus pond in their hands, and put it into the cup on the jewel stand, to offer to the Buddha. I also picked some red apples growing on the trees, that sparkled like diamonds, and ate them. They were fragrant, sweet and crispy, and really delicious. Everyone and everything in the Pure Land glows and smells great. The Pure Land is really wonderful. I asked my son if his body would glow in the Pure Land. He replied, yes, I would glow too. My son went on to say, I walked out of the grass and onto a gold road that was about the width that 2 cars could drive on. I saw my grandparents living in a big, beautiful castle. They walked towards me from a group of people. This group of people looked very similar to my grandparents. They were all about 30 years old, with solemn looks and Buddha-like halos on their heads. Some of them wore ancient Chinese clothes, had ancient buns, and wore gold-like crowns. Some wore the same clothes as me. All of them and their clothes were shining and very beautiful. I asked my son curiously, what kind of clothes were you wearing at that time? My son said, the same as what I am wearing now, with pants and a coat. I asked my son, do your clothes glow? He said, yes. I asked Tony, if everyone looks the same, how do you know who your grandparents are? My son said that when he was in the Pure Land, he could know and see in his heart as long as he wanted to know. Every person in the Pure Land knew who they were in their previous lives and many lives, what they did, whether they were good people or bad people. Some people did bad things in their previous lives, and were bad people, but because they knew they were wrong, when they were about to die, and sincerely recited the name of Amitabha Buddha saved them and they were able to come to the Pure Land. Tony continued, I flew towards my grandparents and arrived in front of them. The 3 of us hugged each other happily. Then my grandparents said to me, long time no see, you have grown so tall. My son first met my parents when he was 7 years old. This is the 2nd time they met. My son is 11 years old. The lotus pond here is great. I'll take you there to play. I went to the lotus pond with my grandparents. They sat on the lotus flowers and watched me swimming and playing in the water. I drank a few sips of the water, which tasted sweet. My body immediately felt very comfortable. The water could also turn cold or hot on its own. I was wondering if there were any fish under the water I could play with, but then I saw fish, shrimps and octopuses swimming around in the water. Then I got tired and didn't want to play anymore, so they all disappeared. When I was resting on the lotus flower, I saw it's made of yellow, pink, blue and green. My English name and Chinese name were written on the petals. There was another lotus flower with my mother's Chinese name written on it. My mother's lotus flower was made of red, pink, purple and yellow. My mother's lotus was as wide and tall as her 2 open arms. Mine was a little smaller than my mother's. My mother's and my lotus flower were both closed and had not yet bloomed. I also saw some people sitting on lotus flowers in meditation. Some people were flying in the sky. I also saw a lotus flower slowly blooming, with a bodhisattva sitting inside with his eyes closed and his palms put together. At this time, Amitabha Buddha, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva and Mahasthamaprapta Bodhisattva flew over from the sky and landed on the grass, in front of this bodhisattva. This bodhisattva slowly opened his eyes, then stepped down from the lotus platform, knelt down in front of Amitabha Buddha, put his palms together, and prostrated. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva and Mahastamaprapta Bodhisattva stood on either side of Amitabha Buddha. After listening to Amitabha Buddha's teachings, this Bodhisattva flew away to make offerings to other Buddhas. I asked my son how he knew where he went. He replied that he knew it in his heart. My grandparents also took me to the castle where they lived. The bed I lay on in the castle was so soft and comfortable that I could sink into it. Then I told my grandparents that I wanted to go outside and take a look. My grandfather said to me, "Your mother will soon come to the Pure Land and reunite with us. Don't worry. You must recite the Buddha's name well. In the future, you will be able to come and reunite with us." I nodded and said, "Okay." After we said goodbye to each other, I walked out of the castle alone and continued walking on the Golden Road. Suddenly, I thought about where Amitabha Buddha was. As soon as this thought came to me, I naturally appeared in front of Amitabha Buddha. I saw Amitabha Buddha sitting under a tree, preaching to the Bodhisattvas. I was thinking that I should take this rare opportunity to ask Amitabha Buddha which of the 6 realms I was in my previous life. Suddenly, the scene of my passing away in the human realm in my previous life appeared in front of my eyes. It was as clear as watching a movie. At this time, Guanyin Bodhisattva suddenly came to me with a smile and asked me what I was doing in the lotus pond just now. I thought to myself that I was swimming and drinking a few sips of water. Before I could answer Guanyin Bodhisattva said to me that drinking the water from the lotus pond can make your mind clear, increase your wisdom and have a healthy body. You should also chant the Buddha's name more often. Chanting the Buddha's name is good for you. I nodded and said yes. I asked Guanyin Bodhisattva, "I can now see and know what happened in my previous life. Can I take this ability with me?" Guanyin Bodhisattva replied, "This ability cannot be taken away. Everyone who goes to the Pure Land will naturally have this ability. When you come here in the future, you will have this ability." After listening to Guanyin Bodhisattva's words, I nodded to show that I understood. Then I wondered if there's anything I could eat. As soon as this thought came to my mind, many shiny candies and biscuits, as well as all kinds of sparkling fruits and cakes, suddenly appeared in the air in front of me. I wanted to eat the big cake, and the big cake flew to my hand for me to eat. After I finished eating the cake, the jewelry plate that held the cake disappeared. I also ate a peach and some candies and biscuits. They were all delicious. I felt full, and all the food disappeared. At this time, I wanted to drink water, and chrysanthemum water appeared in the air for me to drink. After I drank it, the jewelry cup containing the chrysanthemum water disappeared. When I want to play video games, a game console appears in the air for me to play. When I don't want to play anymore, the game console disappears. When I turned back to look at Amitabha Buddha, I found that Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva had disappeared. I only saw Amitabha Buddha still preaching the Dharma to the Bodhisattvas. Only Mahastamaprapta Bodhisattva was next to Amitabha Buddha. At this time, Mahastamaprapta Bodhisattva seemed to know the doubts in my heart and came to me and told me that Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva had gone to another world to save sentient beings. I nodded to show that I understood. At this moment, I suddenly remembered that my parents promised to take me out for breakfast at dawn. I was a little anxious. I was worried that if I didn't go home, I would miss breakfast. Amitabha Buddha seemed to have heard the little abacus in my heart and immediately appeared in front of me. He smiled and said to me, "It's time to go back." A lotus flower suddenly appeared at the feet of Amitabha Buddha and me. I didn't ask Amitabha Buddha if it was okay, I just held onto Amitabha Buddha's waist and flew back. Amitabha Buddha smiled and waved bye to me and left.